Good afternoon, everyone. If you hear noise in the background, that is the tower fan going on because we're in the middle of traditional summer weather where I live, and it's just downright hot. Let's no bones about it. But anyway, I wanted to say thank you for your support. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, because these uploads are done daily, shortly after midnight. So let's go ahead and talk about narcissism, because if you had a chance to watch some of my earlier videos, I did a few of the videos talking about narcissism and some of the traits of a person that has narcissistic personality disorder. So this is narcissism part 4, and in this fourth part we're going to talk about one personality trait that is pretty prevalent, but sometimes it's very subtle. You don't realize what's going on, and that is a lack of empathy for others. A lack of empathy for others. I'm going to give a little story time, a few examples to help you understand what I'm talking about. Now, narcissism personality disorder, as I discussed in previous audios, is actually a personality disorder, and it usually stems from two things: either too much attention as a child or a total neglect from the childhood. So a person is either on one end of the spectrum or the other, and they develop, because of unhealed traumas and wounds, they develop this attitude about themselves that is them against the world, and they're just going to get whatever they want. And no, you know, it doesn't matter who they hurt or what's going on. You guys have dealt with a narcissist, probably have them in your family, parents, cousins, uncle, brother, sister. And I just wanted to talk about how they show a lack of empathy. A few examples. Now, the first one is the first examples of showing a lack of empathy is, let's say, for instance, you're going through a traumatic thing. Let's say, for instance, that you're on your way to work one day and you get into an accident and you wind up in the hospital, and it's not anything life-threatening, but you have to get treatment or whatever the case may be. And everyone else, your friends, your family, or whatnot, they'll rally around you, try to give you words of encouragement, offer you their services, the way that people should respond to someone close to them that are going through trauma. What the narcissist does is the narcissist will come in and they will try to turn the whole situation around where everybody's paying attention to them. Instead of offering, assistance and whatnot, they'll turn around and ask all these questions and bombard you and ask you, try to make it seem like it was your fault that it was the accident occurred, because they're actually upset that the attention is being placed on you at that time and not them. Now, mind you, this is a traumatic situation. As a person got involved in a car accident, and it's rightfully so that the attention should be placed on them, because they need that attention. They need that support in order to, move on. I mean, it's natural instinct. But the narcissist will come in some way, form, or fashion, will try to turn the whole situation around where the attention is placed on them by either trying to talk about something that's bothering them and make everyone involved pay attention to them and ignore the person who's going through the results of the accident, some kind of sob story or some kind of situation. A narcissist never fails to do that. Or it could be a situation where they feel that they need to come in and let's say that they're trying to create a support network for the person in the accident, and they decide they're going to come in and be the one that's going to be the task handler. They're going to be the one that's going to dictate who does this, that, and the other. All of this not because they care about the person, but because they want to have the attention placed on them and want to have more people pay attention to them. So you got to be real careful of these type of people. That's one way that they show a lack of empathy, is that in times of trauma, the other person who's deservingly supposed to get that attention, they'll turn around and try to find a way to, circumvent that, because that, it all boils down to a lack of self-esteem with these people. Okay, so another example of showing a lack of empathy is just simply communication in general. Let's just say that you know, um, you receive a phone call and it's kind of like one of those, hey, how you doing? One of those checkup calls, that type of thing. Average call that you have with a person is like, hey, how you doing? You share what's going on with you. They share what's going on with them. You probably make plans to go out together. You make plans to see each other. You talk about other people and situations. You have a laugh or two. But with the narcissist, you can't have that type of attitude. A lot of people who are narcissists, they don't have long phone conversations with people anyway, because the way they try to direct and control the conversation is at a level where the other person doesn't feel that they're heard, and they hardly ever communicate with these people in the future because they already know how it's going to turn. Let me give you an example. Somebody calls you on the phone and say, hey, cuz, I haven't talked to you in a long time. How you doing? Okay, and you proceed to tell them what's going on. The minute you tell them the first thing that's going on, they want to come back at you and tell you, well, this is constructive criticism, but you need to do this and you need to do that, and you should do this and you should do that. And you're like, okay, keep that in mind. Then you try to go on to the next subject about something. It could be something as small as, I'm going to try to apply for a new job position. Well, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to contact so-and-so, and what you need to do with your resume is this, that, and the other. And it's like, okay, so that's the second way they've done it. Okay, so all of a sudden we get to the third point in the conversation. It could be a situation where, you know what, I'm starting to go out and meet people, and there's a possibility I might have a date with so-and-so and so, and I'm having a great time. Well, what you need to do is this, 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 and this. It's like they're trying to tell you what to do with every single point that you bring up. If you mention something about your finances, oh, I got myself a raise. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. What you need to do with your money is that you need to do this and you need to do that. And see, 9 times out of 10, the narcissist situation is not as ideal as the one that they're trying to project onto you. In other words, they're trying to tell you what to do and they haven't done it their damn selves. Or if they have, they probably failed. So please pardon the background. There's a little loud noise that's coming through, and I don't know what that's about. But I think that's somebody that's pulling up outside. Okay, all right, it's calmed down. That's great. But anyway, just to give you an idea of a lack of empathy, these people will do anything and take any opportunity at any given time to make anything about them. They take the simplest situations and try to make it where the spotlight is on them. Okay? And they don't care. They don't care how it looks to anybody else. They don't care how the other person's feeling. And another way that they don't show any empathy to them is that somebody could be, suffering emotionally, and they'll be the only person in the room that doesn't try to do anything to try to help that person feel better about their situation at all. They don't. So, I know this is a short one, but yeah, this is what narcissists do. Those are a few examples of how they show a lack of empathy. What they'll do is just take any type of traumatic situation, whether it's emotional, financial, physical, or whatever the case may be. They will not show any type of emotional concern for that person because they don't care about people. They don't care about others. People are pawns to these people. They are tools. They are like that piece of furniture that you need in your house. You buy a whole living room set and realize you're missing a coffee table. And then finally you get that coffee table, and that coffee table's just fine as long as it's where it needs to be and does what it needs to do when needed. And that's how narcissists treat other people. Because at the end of the day, it's about what they want to have when they want to have it. It's very prevalent, and in some families, some people have accepted that person's behavior, and the way they do it is so sneaky because they'll try to say, "Oh, it's just constructive criticism," and you've been on my mind. Yeah, I've been on your mind because you want to think of another way of trying to make yourself better than me. You want to try to lift yourself over my situation. And it's like, okay, you see that somebody else is doing well. You can't even come out of your mouth and say, you know what, you're doing well. They're very, very They're very, very skimpy when it comes to compliments. They hardly ever give those out. If they do, it is wrapped up within something that's going to focus on them. They'll turn around and say, "Oh yeah, you did a great job with that and everything. But you did a great job with that. But you could be a little bit better if you do so and so and so." And 9 times out of 10, these people, if they do give you any type of accolades or any type of support, they make sure they do it around another group of people. In other words, they have to have an audience anytime that they speak or anytime that they act, because it's about them having all eyes on them. These people are great at upstaging any type of conversation. They upstage any type of event, and they do not care. They're piss poor listeners, because why listen to somebody you don't care anything about? As far as they're concerned, no matter where they go or what they do, they are the most important person in the room, even in time of tragedies. The light bulb just never goes off in these people to say, you know what, it's their turn. It's their turn to get the attention. It's their turn to have their needs fulfilled, and I need to just take a step back. These people don't know anything about that. And that's the way they show a lack of empathy. So you see with a lot of narcissists, they don't have friends or relatives that are close to them. They'll say that they know these people, but they're not close where they associate on a regular basis, because it's hard when you're trying to interact with someone and have a healthy communication with them, because you can't. A lot of people dread trying to associate with narcissists because of this attitude, because they're like, oh, well, you know what, I'm either going to lie about my situation, or I'm not going to talk to them at all, because they don't care anyway, because they don't listen, they don't pay attention. They show me that they don't care. Now, on the flip side of this, because they are a narcissist and because they want the spotlight on them, they'll turn around. And let's say that same person who is a narcissist goes through the situation going back to the person who was in an accident. Now, the time that was in the accident and that person didn't, that narcissist didn't show any care or anything about them, let them have something that they go through that's not even remotely close to what that person went through. All of a sudden, they got to call everybody and jump on Facebook and send texts and everything else, and they would just go absolutely crazy trying to get attention. Let's say that they probably, instead of getting in a car accident, let's say that this person cut themselves cooking today. Nothing that requires stitches, they cut themselves cooking today. It's according to my clock right now, it's 4:48. Let's say at 2 o'clock today, Joe cut himself cooking. Now, mind you, Joe's cousin was involved in a car accident about 6 months ago. Joe didn't do anything to help. Joe sat there and flapped his gums and everything else. And, a lot of people don't even deal with Joe because you can't talk to Joe. Joe cut himself cooking 2 hours ago. And Joe, in the past 2 hours, Joe has posted it on Facebook with a picture of his cut finger. He have uploaded reels on Instagram about how the knives are bad. Don't never cut with a dull knife, or make sure you don't try to do 2 things at one time, or don't use this knife or this. It's the knife's fault. It's the knife's fault. These are the type of people, they'll take their little bit of situation that they're going through, and all of a sudden, all the people that were around them, they're supposed to just drop what they're doing no matter what and come to their aid. So I kind of hope this helps people. This helps you identify one of the traits. It's a lack of empathy for others. And a lot of people who show a lack of empathy for others are usually the drama queens anyway, when it comes to something that's not even remotely as serious as the other act that happened to them. And then they'll turn around and they'll curse you and tell you you're going to go to hell, and that they're going to pray for you because you're a sinner and you're possessed by a demon and all this old stuff. And they say all these horrible things. It's Armageddon to them because something little happened to them, but they don't understand that people have memories of how they treated others in their time of need. So, with that being said, if there is a part 5, I'll come up with it. But I think these first 4 are pretty prevalent, but I'm going to do some more research because I think there's about 8 or 9 qualities that narcissists have that you got to look out for. These people are not people you cannot have, that you can have close relationships. You can't have close relationships with these people because it's not going to be equal give and take with them. And they don't care if there's an equal give and take. And that's just not a healthy relationship, people. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace to you all.